Well, I reviewed Morbius, so I might as well review this film. Hey guys, this is Jason. I'm reviewing Madam Web, directed by S.J. Clarkson, stars Dakota Johnson, Sweeney, Celese O'Connor, and Isabella Merced. And it is about Cassie Web, played by Johnson, a paramedic who one day gets visions of the past, present, and future, and has to protect 3 young women against Ezekiel Sims, the main villain of the film that wears a dark Spider-Man suit that looks like he just bought it at Party City and used it for a fan-made YouTube video, because he believes that all 3 of these women will kill him in the future. Now, similar to Morbius, I really don't know much about Madam Web as a character. I've only seen her in stuff like the 90s animated Spider-Man series, as well as the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions video game. I'm just gonna cut to the chase. This movie is crap. This is one of the worst superhero films I have seen in my life. It is, yet again, another terrible Spider-Man spin-off film from Sony. Now, I am gonna get into spoilers, which I don't usually do that for newer films, but since this one has been out since February, I am gonna get into spoilers, which I don't care. Don't watch this movie if you haven't seen it yet. It's terrible. Now, I did not see this movie in theaters. I was busy with some stuff in film school, and I was trying to focus more on that back then. So let's start with the acting, which is really bad. Everyone in this film is bad. Not one of them looked like they were even trying, which that was really the one disappointing thing about this film for me, because I like almost every actor in this film. Like, I think Dakota Johnson is a good actress. She does get too much hate for the 50 Shades films, but she has given good performances in other movies, like The Peanut Butter Falcon. She was really good in that film, and I do recommend watching that film if you haven't seen it yet. It's a really good movie. But here, she is terrible. She doesn't look like she's really trying in the film. She really just sounds like she's just reading her lines from the script. Sweeney, talented actress, but she is completely wasted here. She is not convincing as this girl who is trying to be nice to everyone around her. Celese O'Connor and Isabella Merced are both very talented actresses, but they are also really bad. Everyone in this film looks like they're just doing this for a big paycheck. Now let's talk about the story for this film. Really, nothing makes any sense here. For one, this movie is about Dakota Johnson protecting these 3 women from the main villain who has his evil plans on trying to kill them. But she's also trying to learn more about her powers while also seeing the future. And all of this is happening to her because her mom got bit by a special spider with powers after she got shot, and she passes on her powers to Cassie while she's being born, after being rescued by spider people that apparently can crawl on walls and jump high. Okay, that's in the movie, I guess. And Cassie is such a terrible hero in this film, because after she saves these 3 girls from the main villain in the subway, she leaves them defenseless in the woods for 3 hours just so that she can look for answers of what's going on with her powers. And then later in the film, when they go to a motel at night, she leaves them defenseless again just to find more answers. And then after that, she decides to leave them for a week just to go to Peru to find more answers. Like, how am I supposed to like her? How is she supposed to be the main hero of this film if she keeps abandoning them and leaving them for dead? Speaking of those 3 girls, this movie does try to flesh them out with some of their backstories and their issues, but they mostly feel pushed to the side just for Cassie and her issues. There is also a lot of exposition in this film that really doesn't need to be there. Like, it's just Cassie trying to learn more about the spider that bit her mother during childbirth, and why she has these powers to see the future and the past, and how she can control it, and how the main villain of the film relates to the main story, because when it first introduces him and her mother finding the spider, he just shoots her and takes the spider for himself. Why did he decide to take the spider for himself? Why did he decide to betray her and shoot her? I have no idea. This movie doesn't even bother to answer. And when Cassie gets to Peru and finds the spot where her mother gave birth to her, she starts to learn her version of the "with great power comes great responsibility" line. Except it's switched around. It's when you have responsibility, you have great power. By the way, Ben Parker is also in this film. That's right, Uncle Ben himself is in this film, played by Adam Scott. And he doesn't learn that with great power comes great responsibility from her. She just gets it herself. Now that I've already covered the acting and the story, let's talk about the cinematography and the editing and the action sequences, which... oh god, it is really bad. There are moments where the camera lens just goes in and out during a conversation with two characters. I'm not exaggerating. Like, there's a scene where the camera lens is just zooming in and out while two characters are talking to each other. And when you see that in the film, it looks amateur. It looks like someone who's new at doing cinematography is just trying to learn the lens while they're filming the film. I'm not exaggerating, it really feels like that. Even the CGI in this film looks like crap. The action sequences and the editing are very flashy and very quick and make it very hard to see with what's going on in an action scene, and it can sometimes look unintentionally funny. Like in the beginning of the film, when the spider people rescue Cassie's mom and they're going over the trees to go to their hideout, it really reminded me of this one scene from Twilight, where Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson are going over trees, and it's got a lot of flashy lights and that kind of editing. It really reminded me of that. It was that bad. Now let's talk about the villain of this film, Ezekiel Sims, who is not a very interesting villain at all, and his suit in the film is laughable. Like I said earlier, it looks like a suit that he bought at Party City, and it's supposed to make us understand why he wants to kill these girls, but besides that, he's a very bland and boring villain with not that much of a motive for trying to kill them. And he didn't feel threatening at all when he's trying to get to these girls, and every line he says in this film sounds like it's 80 yard. I swear, his voice doesn't sound like his real voice at all. Now let's talk about the third act, where Mary Parker is giving birth to her unborn child, who is pretty much Peter Parker, because Peter Parker's parents in the comics are both Richard Parker and Mary Parker, because she is Ben Parker's sister-in-law, and she's with him after giving birth to little Peter in the hospital. While we also get this final battle between Cassie and Ezekiel Sims on this giant Pepsi Cola sign. Why is it in this film? Probably because Sony likes to use product placement in almost all of their movies, making those films feel like commercials, and this film does feel like a commercial as well in this scene when Ezekiel Sims falls down, and this Pepsi sign also falls down on him and kills him, and Cassie falls off of it as well, getting herself paralyzed, and a firework hits her in the eyes, blinding her while she's underwater, because she's blind in the comics, so they gotta make it accurate to the Madam Web in the comics. Madam Web just might be my least favorite Spider-Man spin-off film, and I hated Morbius, but this film just might be a teensy tad worse than that film. This is a sign that Sony should just stop with the Spider-Man spin-off films, because they're not working out. They didn't work out with the Venom films, they didn't work out with Morbius, and they didn't work out with Madam Web, and I know we're gonna get Kraven the Hunter and Venom 3: The Last Dance later this year, unless Sony decides to push both of them back again for whatever reason, because they keep pushing Kraven back for a few more months. Why? I don't know. But after those two films come out, then Sony just stop. Just stop with the Spider-Man spin-off films, because they are clearly not working out. Guys, Madam Web gets an F. I think my neighbors are gonna hate me. Guys, I obviously don't recommend this film. Don't watch this film if you haven't yet. If you did see this film in theaters and you hated it, then I feel really bad for you. If you have seen it, what did you think about the film? Let me know how you feel about it in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss a thing, because it helps my channel grow. Notification bell so you know what other videos I'm making. Please watch this video as many times as you want. If you like seeing me get angry, follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.